Hey everybody, welcome back to What Are You Jamming? I'm your host Chris Owen. What Are You Jamming is a show where we talk to musicians about the music that shaped them, the records they can't without, the sounds that keep them going, and of course, what they're jamming. Today I'm talking with Bryn from Stay Inside, a band that comfortably lives in the space between indie rock, emo, or whatever else they feel like pulling to the mix without asking permission. We get all of it. Grow up around music, how Stay Inside came together, the evolution of their sound, and they making that call that, yeah, the song needs horns, which honestly, more bands should consider. We also talk about the latest record, Longer, York's influence, touring, fan connection, what it actually means to make something out that feels true to you, not just something that fits neatly into a box. Behind all of this, you're hearing Kind of Electric Sheep playing, just to set tone right. Alright, here's my conversation with Bryn. Bryn, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Chris?
I'm good. How you feeling today, like, actually?
How am I feeling actually?
Yeah.
I'm feeling honestly really good today. I woke up at a very reasonable time. I had a very good it's like kind of like today's like one of my first real days back at work. Like
Oh, yeah.
like you kind of start the sleepy uh
Yeah.
sleepy days of coming back to work, and today we had a lot to do, and
Also, it's exciting.
and then I hung out with my friend. Yeah, so it's been pretty good.
In a good headspace and all that?
Sorry?
Good in a
Oh,
good headspace and all that?
good headspace. Yeah.
Alright. So for people hearing you for the first time, can you introduce yourself and what you do in Stay Inside?
My name is Bryn Niebohr. I play bass and sing. Honestly, at this point, I play many instruments. I've played banjo, I've played guitar, I've played synthesizers, play lots of stuff, write a lot of the songs with Chris Johns in Stay Inside.
Yeah, cool.
But
So
live, I
if
mostly play bass and sing backup.
yeah, okay. If someone has never heard Stay Inside before, how would you explain what the band sounds like to them?
I try not to.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it, honestly. Like, yeah, as I know it's a shitty question, but it's just I
Yeah.
do like to see how artists view their own music.
Yeah, I try not to say, if someone asks me like what kind of band it is, I usually kind of I do a little deflection, and I often say like it's a indie rock band. Which it like is, I guess. Like we're
Yeah,
kind of an indie rock band. We're on an indie label. I don't know if Tiny Engines counts as an indie label, but we put out a lot of our own stuff. We kind of do everything pretty DIY, and we play rock music. So
yeah, rough. That's the easiest way to explain to someone for sure.
it's definitely a little more maximalist than that in some of especially with the past two records. But
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, I've seen people describe you guys as emo, and I mean that's such a big ambiguous term. Like that's just like that might as well be saying rock music or indie rock because it takes up all that stuff, you know.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean I
emo
hear
is
it.
definitely a label that for the first record, I wouldn't argue it. It's definitely an emo record. For the second record, I would accept emo twist or tinge. It's
Yeah,
inspired. The third record, I don't really know what we're talking about anymore. Like if
yeah,
we
that's
talk
just
about indie
it's what
emo music, but
yeah,
whatever.
stay inside. So before Stay Inside, what was your personal music relationship with music? Like, what were you doing as a kid before the band?
As a what?
As a kid, like
As a
did you grow up
kid?
with music?
Yeah, I my grandfather was a salsa musician
Mm,
professionally in Los Angeles. Um, and he was a pianist. So he had a piano in the house,
mhm.
and that he played and would write music on. And that was his job. So I learned to play really, really early from him.
Okay.
Um, and then at 11 years old, I started picking up guitar as well.
Mhm,
Um, and then basically made guitar my main thing
mhm.
until I got into synthesizers during college, and then, played a lot of synthesizers, which is, pads and keyboards and stuff.
Sure.
Um, and then I started making ambient drone music,
Yeah.
and I was playing synthesizers and guitar through a lot of pedals and synths. And then so then you're kind of doing both.
Yeah.
Um, and then in 2015, I think, or 14, I started getting really into industrial, like
Yeah.
Swans and Godflesh
Hell
and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I was like, got really obsessed with that bass sound, the like really crunchy, heavy sound. And so I bought a bass and started learning that.
Yeah.
So I've been playing bass now for, I don't know, a little over 10 years. But yeah, I've kind of always been into a lot of different stuff. Musically, I grew up listening to skate punk.
Oh yeah.
I grew up really Christian, so a lot of like MXPX and
Oh fuck yes! I was so glad you say that. Like from my ages like 11 to 15, the XPX was my favorite band. So
oh dude, I like my memory of like being forced to mow the lawn and then on my red Discman like having the Teenage Politics CD and just like that is just like all I listened to.
yeah, yeah.
Um I loved MXPX. I loved Five Iron Frenzy.
Hey, me too.
Yeah,
I've seen it twice. Like when I was growing up at the skating rink they're playing.
yeah. So I think I had a pretty I mean, like pretty eclectic. Like, I was pretty plugged into like weird indie music in LA growing up because I grew up in
Yeah,
Los Angeles.
yeah.
Um, and then just kind of went down a weird rabbit hole of taste. And I kind of listened to when people say they listen to everything, I'm like, well, do you listen to like Nurse with Wound? Like I listen to everything
Yeah,
um
yeah.
in a real way. So I just like music. I work in I make synthesizers for a living. So
Oh, that's dope.
big music head.
That's a good way to put it. Music head. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did the Sting Inside come together? I mean, because like you said first, the record it was sort of emo, but like when you get together, was there a conscious choice to make it an emo band or make a band that makes that time music, or just come together like that?
Yeah, so when I was in like 2015, I started working at a company called MakerBot
Hmm.
that was 3D printing. We made 3D printers. I was
Yeah.
working in the electrical engineering team. And a guy there named Bartis was working in sales
Hmm.
and we would play ping pong and like hang out sometimes. And he was like, "Hey, I heard you play bass. I've been wanting to start a band." And I was like, "What kind of band you want to start?" And he had grown up similarly to me, really Christian and like
Yeah.
in church. And he had a lot of similar touch points of like listening to Emery and like Dance Gavin. I don't really like Dance Gavin Dance, but he liked Dance Gavin Dance. Um, and Brand New and like all those like emo
Yeah.
bands from the early 2000s.
Sure.
And he kind of was just like, that's how he thought of rock. And he was like, "I want to start a rock band, like an emo band."
Yeah.
So he had tapped another guy who worked there named Vishnu who to play drums, and he met Chris Johns on Craigslist. And so he was it was the band started as Bartis's like project. He was like, "I'm trying to start a band."
Yeah.
Um, and then 2 years into it, he was like, "Actually, I want to be a solo artist."
Yeah.
And we were like, "Okay." And then we kind of just kept going.
Hmm.
We added a guitarist named Chris Lawless, and yeah. So the first 2 years it was one way, and then after that it was um how it
Another
is
way.
now. Hmm.
Okay. All right. Um. So let's let me get into this really. I'm gonna go into it and talk about because so when you tell someone horns, they're gonna think, "Oh, you guys going ska punk," and you're like,
Yeah.
"No, or you guys gonna sound like a Happy Hollow for Christmas?" They're like,
Cursive.
"No,
Yeah.
yeah," and it's neither of that. So, what made you want to bring horns into the mix? I know you started doing it Fade Away, but this one's also really prominent in a good way, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um. I don't know, like like I just said, I liked Fiverr and Frenzy growing up. I don't know that it's not influenced by that, and I also loved Happy Hollow.
yeah.
I'm a big Cursive fan for
Oh, me
sure.
too. Yeah,
So, I mean, it's definitely it would be ridiculous to say I'm not influenced by the things I grew up listening to.
right.
So,
I'm glad to hear that. You're probably just like know it all. So.
yeah, I mean, it's, although Chris Johns, my main collaborator, he didn't grow up listening to anything like that, but it was kinda his idea because we would be writing a song, like, I remember the way horns really entered the picture was we were writing Invitation or Bonzies. We were kind of writing those at the same time. Those are two songs from Faded Away, and he just one day recorded himself humming, like doing a little noise of the horn line, and he did it kind of like it would should be a trumpet.
Right.
And he didn't mean it really to be a trumpet. He just was like, maybe it's a synth, maybe it's a guitar line. He just like put it in because he didn't sound right as a guitar or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of all got attached to it as a horn because it sounded like a horn. And
Yeah.
so we were like, well, for this song, we'll like maybe hire somebody. Maybe they'll be horns. And we had like, you know, Foxing has a horn. Like
Sure.
it sort of made sense
Yeah. Yeah.
to get a little artsy with it on this one. And then we tried a bunch of people, and it wasn't. We had some people do all right and record some stuff, and we found this guy Matt Hull, and we just like everything he laid down was just like we'd have a part and we'd just be like, Matt should try something on this, and we would like, and then he'd do a horn or a trombone over it, and it would sound fantastic. So we also had friends, our friends, good looking friends. They had, they I guess still have to some extent a saxophonist named Shelley Washington, who's still tours with us and plays on Lunger. Um, and so we asked her to do some saxophone stuff too, and so we just realized we had a bunch of friends who did brass woodwind shit, and yeah, it kind of just unfolded naturally. And then for Lunger, it was like we just started writing, knowing we had all these people like already playing all these songs, and it would just felt like natural to have them play their parts just the way you'd have a different guitarist play their parts, just like, here's the song, have some stuff going on. So that's basically how it went.
So it's longer, not lunger.
Uh yes, it's longer.
Okay. Okay. I'll let people know because I've been calling it that the whole week.
Well, one of the when I suggested the title,
Mhm.
I suggested it on our DMs, and so
Yeah.
everybody assumed it was Lunger until I explained why it was called that, and they were like, "Well, it looks like Lunger, so people will say whatever," and then
Okay.
so it's
Well,
whatever.
I get that. I got that going now, so I can tell people no, it's actually longer. when this when this playing
Yeah,
my
you can
car.
be pretentious. You can be a
Yeah.
snob about it.
Yeah. I talked to Bryn. She told me it's called longer.
It's
So.
actually Lunger.
So. Yeah, I know that you guys are all transplants to New York, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think that like your location in New York influences the music you make, or do you just everything you brought back from where you're from?
I mean, for me personally, I consider myself a New Yorker. I've been here for
Mhm.
15 years. I don't plan on leaving, and I know John's feels the same.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it absolutely. I mean, I think the first record there are definitely. I was dealing with a lot of heavy shit when we
Mhm.
wrote Viewing, and there is, the fact that I lived here had lived here for 6, 7 years. Well, actually, it was 10 years when that album was released.
Mhm.
But when we were writing it, it was like 6, 7 years. Um, and that had rubbed off on it a little bit, but I feel like Faded Away is the first record that is like New York is a character a little bit, like New York is a spirit it's very specifically themed around Coney Island as a metaphor
Mhm.
and people leaving and coming, not being able to afford New York and like all that kind of situation is 100% like about what Faded Away is kind of like encoded to be. Lunger is even more so, I'd say. Lunger is a I think trying to get at a really like the energy of the city and how many different types of vibes there are, and sort of the mania of kind of learning to exist here,
Mhm.
um, and in America in general. Um, but specifically through the lens of, living in its largest city. So I'd say absolutely, yeah.
So with longer, it's been since October 3rd. How do you feel about now being a few months out?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
Like, how do I like it?
Yeah, well, yeah, do you like it? Do you think people like it? That sort of thing. I mean,
Well, I mean, how I feel about it and its reception are definitely different things.
yeah, I like
Um,
it, by the way, so you have one person, at least me.
I'm
So
glad you like it. Yeah, I think my hope is that I don't know. I mean, you never know when something is gonna click with people or not.
mhm.
You can only sort of make something that feels true and interesting to yourself.
That's
Uh,
all you gotta do. I mean, to me, that's like that's the hint. That's the core of artistic integrity. You
right.
know.
I mean, for me, the honest truth is like for me, Longer is our best record. Like
Mhm.
I think it's the most fun. It's the most catchy. It has the best songs. Like there's no lulls. There's no. I mean, I don't know. I feel that way kind of. Some days I feel that way about Fairy Away. Um, but I think we're really trying a lot of new stuff with Longer. We're really stretching what kind of songs we were writing, and like I'm a very conceptual person, and I try to really like bring a lot of detail and um like metaphor and imagery to
Mhm.
song lyrics and to an album as a whole. And this time I was really like trying to buck the idea that there would be some sort of like concept for the whole record.
Yeah.
It ends up being a
Concept
little
heavy.
well, it ends up being I think cohesive in terms of what we were writing about, but that kind of always happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can only write about like the who you are and where you are.
Sure.
Um, so I like it. I mean, I think it's a good record. I think it has some of our best songs on it.
Yeah.
I like all the songs, and I think that the reception has been weirdly. I mean, I kind of hope that it's a slow burn.
Mhm.
I hope that by next summer people are sort of figuring out that it's cool. Because it's interesting because we released Fairy Away by ourselves, like no label.
Right.
And that was a real slow growth of it came out there was a long there was a ton of singles, and then when it came out it was like did pretty well, but then like slowly grew into, like My Fault has become one of our biggest songs. Um at least on Spotify, I don't know.
Sure.
I try not to think about this stuff too much, but
Mhm.
like obviously all the numbers are there, so you kind of have to look at them. So, I think there's a certain steady growth of people finding out about a record, and I think that there's room for it to grow. But this one was actually like the most immediate. Tons of people listen, like people. It dropped, and like a tons of people were listening to it. So
That's
it was
awesome.
like that's cool.
Yeah.
I haven't honestly read that much of like reviews. I I don't know really how it's being received. So I hope good. I don't
Oh, so
really
you're not on the internet at 3 a.m. searching longer reviews?
not generally.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely like to see them when they come out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I don't I'm not saying I don't ever look, but I do read them when they come out. But
Yeah, yeah. Someone's like, "Did you read this?" And you're like, "No, I didn't." And
I,
now I'm going to.
well, it's also like it's so hard because it's so hard because I think some people get discouraged
Mhm.
if their record isn't like a hit. Like
Yeah.
we're not Geese, like
Uh-huh.
we're not we're not a huge rock band at this point, like um and I think that there's a lot of different factors into why that happens besides
Mm.
being making a good record. Like
Mhm.
unfortunately, like
Yeah.
making a great record does help. Um, but you also have to, like, have good social media, and you have to have marketing, and people have to find out about you, and,
Mhm.
it can take a band, like, a long time, and I think we're also sort of kneecapping ourselves a little bit by, like, consistently being a different band, like, every record,
Yeah.
in terms of, like, sound.
Sure.
So and I mean, like, the stuff we're writing now is not I don't know if people will recognize it. Like it's even more different. Not in a it's not in, well, not to spoil anything, but not in a even more crazy, but in a much more like stripped down, like it's different for a lot of reasons. So it's like
Gotcha.
we'll see how that goes. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, because I'm looking forward personally to see how that goes.
Me too.
Um, so, let's talk about touring. So do you like touring generally as a person? Is that something you're really into? 'Cause I've talked
I
to people that hate it. I talked to Brian Funk of that. He fucking hates touring. He hates his audience. He was like, I was like, performing like with our, he's like, no. So, how do you feel about performing at and touring?
I like that. They are intense live.
Yeah.
Um I I have in the past been a pretty anxious person.
Mhm.
Like I just have I get a little like wigged out when things aren't the way they usually are.
Me and you both, 100%.
So so like in the past I definitely have had trouble with touring and
Mhm.
um have not liked it, especially when we were first starting where it was like sleeping on floor, like you're
Yeah,
really
yeah.
DIY, like maybe we sleep on a couch. We've definitely like leveled up our touring a little bit to make it a little more comfortable.
Mhm.
Um I would say that it's still tough for me, but I have began to enjoy playing shows more.
Yeah.
Um I've gotten a little better at it. I don't know. I would say it's a real love and hate thing. I can definitely imagine liking it if I was in the national, like if I if I was on a fucking tour bus, and playing, sold out arenas, like I'm sure touring would be cool, but like
Yeah.
at the level that we're at of like having to rent a small van and like cram in there and then just like drive ourselves, it's pretty annoying. Like it can be annoying, but like
Yeah.
if the shows are good enough, it can definitely be worth it. It's just
Yeah.
like it's not easy either.
So when people come out to you at your show, do you brace yourself or lean in? Like how do you like if when fans want to talk to you, how do you feel? Like do you feel weighted down by that too?
I I'm a very very extroverted person.
Oh, okay.
Um I'm anxious about some things, but I love people.
Okay.
Um not social. I'm a very social butterfly.
Mhm.
And so I love being talked to. As a matter of fact, the last tour we were on, these people like knew a lot about me. Like they they
They did
they
the research.
well, they were fans of my podcasts.
Oh, nice.
And so they found out of my band
By the
from
way, can you tell me the name of your podcast? I'm gonna subscribe to this right after this.
we just started we rebranded my old podcast. It's currently called Terminal World.
Terminal
We
World?
we only have 2 episodes up. The third one will be coming out, and that's like a political essay
No, fuck
podcast.
yeah.
My movie podcast is called Generation Loss.
Okay.
So they were fans of it was a couple, one was a fan of one and one was a fan of the other,
That's
a
nice.
and they both liked, whatever. They just liked me as a
Person.
podcaster, and they
Yeah.
had found my band through that,
Yeah.
and, went and saw me, and they told me this, and I was like, "Oh, cool, let's" like, I feel like you probably like, I didn't say this, but I was just like, "Okay, I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions, like, let's have a long conversation." Like, I was just, like, ready to chat with them, and then they, like, got embarrassed and left, I think. Not they didn't leave, but they left me alone, and I was like, "Well, you coulda hung out, but I don't care," it's like so I guess I lean in. It's a good question.
So, what's your favorite movie this year then? If we're gonna talk about
My
movies just
favorite
for a
movie
second.
of this year? Oh my god.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't had enough time to think about it because it just ended.
Uh-huh. I do my we do my movie podcast award thing like next week. So I have my top 10 honorable mentions and the 5 worst I've seen. So yeah. I
Okay.
mean I don't know if I want to
I
give
would
away.
say yeah, don't spoil it.
Yeah.
I'd say my favorite movies, I'll give you 3.
Sounds good.
Um, Top 3 in no particular order
Uh-huh.
are, One Battle After Another,
Uh-huh.
Eddington,
Uh-huh.
and Sentimental Value.
Okay, 2 of those are my top 10. So
Okay, did you
Eddington
see Sentimental
and
Value?
One Battle After Another are pretty high up there because I've never quite seen anything like Eddington.
It's
I
incredible.
love
It's a
Ari Aster.
masterpiece.
I love Ari Aster. So just seeing that it was fucking wild because satirizes everything, not just not just one side, but it's an incredible movie. And one by after another. I fucking love Paul Thomas Anderson, more
Yeah.
than life itself, almost. And and it's a movie I've been wanting him to make since There Will Be Blood. Like I've liked Fan Friends things like that just fine, but this one hit me at the right place at the right time, and I fucking love one by after another. And
Yeah, I'm a huge Pynchon fan, so I was
yeah,
really excited for him to do Vineland and put his own spin on it. So
yeah. Do you think he did a good job?
I think he did fantastic. I mean, like it's a different, it's like it's a different movie. It's a different story, and it's just like updated for now because the
Mhm,
like Vineland is really specifically about the '80s and like
mhm,
the end of the boomer like hippie stuff. Like it's very specifically about like post '60s, '80s like aging hippies stuff.
mm,
So this is like kind of about that and kind of like about the current world we live in. Um, so it just takes on a different shape and it's different materially. So I think he did a fantastic job.
alright, cool. Uh, that is our movie talk 'cause, on the music podcast. Let's let's switch gears and actually talk about gear. What's
Okay.
your main rig right now?
I have kind of had the same thing for a long time. When we started this band, I bought a bass for touring because
Mhm,
we started playing out a lot.
mm,
And I bought a Fender Aerodyne,
yeah,
and I've been playing that for 10 years now. And
that's your baby.
I don't have another one. Actually, we have honestly, a lot of Lunger was played on a bass that I don't it's Chris's bass, and I don't actually know the make of it.
Yeah.
It's like a Japanese P copy or something,
Well, I
but,
mean, Japanese is gonna be good quality regardless, you know?
it's nice,
Yeah.
but we actually don't really record with that. That's my live thing, and then I have a Dark Glass head, a Dark Glass 500, that I bring on tour, and then the Dark Glass cab if we need a cab. Um, and then, yeah, pedal-wise, I've recently expanded. Um, I bought I actually don't even know what it's called. The company's called Super Cool. For my work, I go to, like, a lot of synthesizer and pedal conventions,
Hell
and
yeah,
I,
that's
like,
a
was
pretty dope convention, sounds like.
yeah, it was fun. At the Brooklyn one, I was just, like, walking around looking for a specific kind of fuzz,
Mhm.
um, and found this, like, thing called Super Cool 76 or something, and it's, like it looks like a Camel box of Camel cigarettes,
Oh, yeah.
um, and that's the fuzz I use, for live and, yeah, different kinds of pedals.
Okay.
I swap them out.
So, is there anything that's not necessarily music gear that you need when you're on tour? For example, I'm drinking Hint right now. Like, I have a
Hint? It's like
Hint, it's
water?
it's water, but it's very lightly infused with peach, so there's no
A
sugar, but it
hint of
just has that
peach.
yeah, it's, like, kinda florally in that way. And so,
Mhm.
I have, like, cases of this in my fridge because 'cause I'm obsessed with it. That, like, with depth is there anything like that you have that you need when you're feeling creative?
Well, the one time I think it's okay that I say this,
Yeah,
um, when we went on tour with, the Wonder Years,
yeah.
it was, like, the first time we were allowed to have a writer. Like a you know, like a
Yeah,
it was like, "What do you want in your green room?"
yeah.
And a lot of the band was like, I don't know what to ask for, like, do we wanna just take money or, like, get a buyout or" and I was like, "Let's ask for something." So I was like I asked for, like, fruit because it's, like, really hard to find, like, good,
Fresh fruit.
like,
Yeah.
fresh fruit on tour,
Mm,
and then also, peach Red Bull.
yeah.
And I was so shocked because they did it. Like, people went out and got peach Red Bull for me. I
Yeah.
was like, "This is amazing." So I like peach Red Bull. It's definitely when you're on tour.
When the first time I got played from Hanging Show, I was so excited that I actually got money. I walked out with $20 in my pocket. I'm like, "This is amazing."
Yeah,
You know?
it's
I was
crazy.
like 19 and, they had pizza there and pizza was for the band. I was like, "Holy shit, this is amazing."
Free pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't have any, like, specific foods that I take.
Okay.
I should probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just whatever I'm drinking would make me feel good, so Hanson Liquid Death, and that's I keep saying that hopefully they'll sponsor the show. I'll definitely take the free
Li
stuff they give me.
Liquid Death, come on the show.
I know. They would I don't know if you saw the Running Man this year's Running Man at all?
No, I
Um,
didn't.
oh,
Edgar Wright,
well,
yeah?
yeah, but you want it to be a right film, it's not.
Right, that's why I haven't watched it because I heard it wasn't very good.
No, it's not. But they do mention Liquid Death in there, and I was like, now it's not cool anymore. But,
No, it sucks.
if so, I guess my next question is: if you only bring one item on tour for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I guess we kind of talked about that.
This
Unless
is
you have
dreadful.
something coming
Uh,
up.
well, I mean, I don't there's so many things you need on tour.
I also was saying one thing. Though.
Only one thing?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I
Just
need
yourself, I guess, right?
my guitar, I guess I need it.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be
Oh,
a different kind of tour if I could only have one thing.
yeah.
I'd have acoustic maybe, I'd do acoustic
Maybe.
shows.
Yeah. So, what's something that you love that absolutely does not belong and stay inside? Like, do you have like something?
You mean like musically?
Or anything really, yeah. I mean, musically works, but you could say like anything praising Donald Trump. That would be not belonging to stay inside. You know what I mean?
I don't love Donald Trump.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone does.
Uh, uh, well, it's it's a long story.
It's a long
But
story. Yeah,
yeah, no, I mean, stay inside like content wise, I think it's sort of like whatever me and Chris want to do.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't think we'll be releasing like a techno record.
That's good. Yeah,
I do love techno. I love
yeah.
like minimal, like Basic Channel and Robert Hood and weird like Detroit techno and Berlin techno.
Mm.
I like techno. I don't think we'll be making that kind of record. I like noise music. We probably won't be making a noise record. Uh,
What about any record like Stars of the Lid or something?
I don't think we'll do that. I think Stay Inside has to be a rock band.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, I I think anything outside of that, anything too like who knows though, the stuff who cares?
I mean, you said you speak. She's records like a different band, sort of. So like,
What yeah, that's true. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
but it's all I would say they're all rock records
Okay.
of
Yeah.
some style. If you can
Okay.
put folk or noise or something before the rock, I think it'll probably continue, but never say never, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
I
ever do? Go ahead.
no, go
Sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Do you ever constantly keep influences out of the band? Like you're like we can't do that because it's just no.
No, we actually have the complete opposite opinion that like
Okay.
stealing is good and if you like something and it resonates with you, just like do that.
Okay.
We've definitely like had conversations where like, does this sound like this? And then we're like, yeah, that's cool though. uh, I think it's fine. I think people I think that influence and taste is what makes your band your band. Like
Mhm.
I think if no one was telling the Strokes like don't sound too much like the Kinks, like don't sound too much like the MC5, like
Yeah. Yeah.
no one was selling Interpol like don't sound too much like Joy Division, like I- I'm just saying other great New York bands that I love. Like
Oh yeah. Sure.
I think you do stuff and you try to make it your own. And the
Mhm.
thing is like if you're honest and you are doing something with a lot of passion, like yourself is going to show through. Like if you're trying to just copy somebody, um, I think people can tell, and it
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
very rarely um pans out. But if you're like, I love Mount Erie. Mount Erie is example. Like Mount Erie, the microphones,
Yeah.
Phil Elverum.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Mhm.
we love him.
It
Me,
made one of the most depressing records I've ever heard.
a
Like,
crow looked at me.
yeah, so it's just like, it's
Yeah,
so fucking real that I just like, I'm not gonna try
I've
to get too personal on my end, but, you know, I've had a wife who's had an illness, so, like,
yeah.
similar. So, I still have her, she's great.
Oh,
But yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
I
hard to
actually
listen to that record.
Yeah. I mean, I actually
Yeah.
my fiance did die, so it's a very intense
Oh,
that's what
no.
most of what viewing is about. Uh, so, That fucking record, I think I would say it's probably one of my favorite records of all time, and I've heard it 3 times.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what
Is
I
it hard to
mean?
listen
Like,
to?
I can't
Yeah,
listen to it. It's like, it just
yeah, yeah,
crushes me. Um,
yeah.
what was the question? Oh, Mount Erie.
Hmm.
Mount Erie, the Microphones, one of my favorite bands of all time. And we like openly will just be like, this guitar should sound like this song. And like, that's fine. Because it's like,
Yeah,
no one is going to be like, Stay Inside kind of sounds like they're ripping off the microphones. Like,
yeah, yeah,
it doesn't sound like that because it goes through so much other stuff. Right. So it's
yeah,
like, I think it's totally cool to just be like, I think, and when you start getting into like the industry and you start talking
yeah,
to people, like, everyone's doing that. Like, everyone's just
yeah.
like, "Oh, you know that sound from, like, you know how T-Rex, like, kick drums sound, or, like, you
Hmm.
know, how I don't know, that synth from that Mandy Moore song from
Yeah,
2001 or whatever, like,
yeah.
let's put that in this song." Um, and so I think it's cool to, like, take a bunch of stuff and remix it and try to make something interesting out of it.
It's been days chasing that guitar tone from Cherub Rock by Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh,
I can
sure.
never get rid.
But the
You
first
know,
one or the one when it kicks in?
kicks in.
Yeah. Not the gin 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 gin
Yeah,
gin gin
yeah,
gin.
yeah. It's great.
I love Smashing Pumpkins.
um, so, since I'm sure you wrote songs before you actually started staying inside, but like, how has your songwriting changed since the beginning to now? Like, can you think of a time that, oh wow, this is like a leap forward? You know?
For sure. When I started writing songs around, like, 13,
Hmm.
like, acoustic guitar songs,
Yeah.
and my first band was I was 16, um, and we when we first started writing songs, it was sort of like a little too much, directly copying, you know? It'd be like, "Let's
Yeah.
make a Wilco song. Let's make
Yeah.
a Shins song." Um That was sort of kinda how
Hmm.
we were doing it, and then it was, like, lyrically, and then my acoustic stuff was basically just like, "What if I was Conor Oberst?"
Of course. Yeah.
You know, because it was like I wanted to play the guitar and then scream a lot, and then when, I got into like, I think I got into Neutral Milk Hotel around, like, I don't know, 15 or something,
Yeah.
like, you know, there was a lot of, like, just taking stuff and just being,
Yeah.
like, trying stuff on. I think, I think I really started thinking of music differently once I got into synthesizers
Uh-huh.
and was like, songwriting can be anything, like any arrangement of
Right.
like sounds
You know,
and
verse, chorus, verse, solo. Of course.
not
Yeah.
words, no words,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, talking, braying. It doesn't like really matter. So
Uh-huh.
when we started Stay Inside, I still was pretty. I don't know, but something about it being a rock band made me feel like it has to be this way. I
Uh-huh.
feel like, um, doing like, really collaborating with Chris has been a very, like, change because when you're collaborating with somebody, you can't be like, "Okay, I've spent 6 months, like,
Uh-huh.
working on these lyrics, and this is what they
Uh-huh.
are, and you have no input." Like,
Yeah.
you know, we've started being really, especially during Fade Away, it's a very flowy process where
Uh-huh.
like we'll be playing something and then humming and then he'll hum and then we'll start singing nonsense and sort of like doing, you know, random logorrhea words
Yeah.
over the song, and then that kind of will just like we'll catch on to those melodies that way. So it's become a real flowy thing, and then some parts will become different parts, and like this song that we thought was a song is the outro of this song, or you know, whatever.
Does it ever feel
Um,
like you read each other's minds? Sort of like you guys go to the same place but different directions?
um, Sometimes I mean we definitely like it took a long time. Like I would basically right before Ferried Away, we really felt like during Faired Away, I felt like we started really clicking as songwriters. Like,
Uh-huh.
before, there was a lot of, like, headbutting and,
Uh-huh.
like, talking past each other, um, and then I think during Faired Away, we really kind of figured out what we were both good at, and I feel like we furthered that on longer, um, and I just feel like honestly, like, I feel like right now, I feel the most confident in bringing stuff to the table than I ever have.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't know, it feels like you kind of consistently grow as a writer and as a songwriter because it's just like, I don't know, it's really hard. It's really hard to, like,
Right.
even get to a point where you're like, "I know that this is a good idea." Like, "This is a cool sound." Like, it's hard to even know that in yourself, let alone, like, tell someone else, like, how to do it,
Yeah.
or how it or how I do it. I kinda just don't know. You kinda have to, like, get out of your own way, I think, and I think
Yeah.
I am the most out of my way that I've ever been, so hopefully I can continue
Yeah.
doing that.
It's like when, someone would write something in the middle of the night and they come back to in the morning, you're like, "Why did I think this was cool at
This
all?"
isn't
You
good.
know?
Who cares about this?
Yeah. I gotta ask you, Bryn. We're wrapping up here, but I wanna ask you one last question.
Alrighty.
What are you jamming?
What am I listening to?
Yeah.
Um, well, I'll tell you my favorites of the year.
Oh, that's great to hear, yeah.
Um,
I want that.
let's see. It'll be a little bit hard. This year was a lot of jazz.
Uh-huh.
I've been listening to a lot of jazz,
Yeah.
old stuff mostly. Um, I've been listening to a lot of Bill Evans and Jim Hall,
Okay.
um, Lorindo Alameda. Um, but rock music wise, I've been really into Geese. I
Yeah,
think
who hasn't, man?
Geese
That
and
record's great.
Cameron Winter. Cameron Winter, I know, was technically in 2024, but whatever. Obviously,
Yeah, it's the same thing,
It
huh?
was December. Heavy metal. I think is probably my album of the year.
Yeah.
It just like really, it's an incredible record.
Mhm, it is.
Um, I really liked Horse Girls, Phonetics
Oh,
on
yeah,
and
Horse
on.
Girl are great.
I thought that was really good. I really liked, Alien Boy.
Mhm.
Do you know Alien Boy?
I'm not very aware of it
Oh,
anymore.
you gotta check out Alien Boy.
Okay.
If you like Smashing Pumpkins, you
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, like, kinda, like, jangly ass, like, pop songs,
Mhm.
they put out a record last year called "You Wanna Fade,"
Okay.
that is fantastic.
I'll check it out.
Um, let's see, what else have I been listening to? I think that's probably enough. I've been listening to a lot of things.
You going through your, app right now to figure
Yeah,
out.
yeah, I'm just, like, looking at stuff. Um, uh, I feel like I was, like, really low on intense music
Yeah.
this year. I
Mhm.
wasn't listening to a ton of good, a ton of, metal. I've in the past been a big metalhead, but not
So,
so much
do
this
you
year.
want a recommendation?
I would love a recommendation.
Okay, Agricultural to Spiritual Sound?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
been
I
my
heard
favorite
that.
record of last year.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
I definitely heard. Ooh, the Dove Ellis
okay.
released a record called Blizzard, that's really, really good. Um, I just remembered that came out. Um, yeah, I like that agriculture culture record. They're a little, not black enough for me.
Not cult enough for you?
Eh, I mean, I like the new Def Heaven stuff, but
Yeah, yeah, I
I
mean, who
feel like
doesn't?
anything that like teeters into hardcore,
Yeah.
I'm a little like,
Mhm.
um. So I like it.
So,
It didn't
what did
grab
you
me
think
crazy.
of not I mean, Def Heaven's newest record is pretty good. What'd you think of the one before that? Like, Infinite Granite, that shoegaze record.
Oh, Def Heaven.
Yeah.
I have liked every Def Heaven record.
Okay, okay.
I think they're whatever
They're
they're
pretty
doing is always
they're great.
really weird, and
Mhm,
Lonely People with Power was fantastic.
mhm.
I think that actually one of my I think that b Ordinary Corrupt Human Love was, like, unfairly maligned. I thought that was really cool. Um, but they're all really good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of Niebohr. Like, of all the records I've heard from him, Niebohr is the darkest to me, whatever. I don't wanna rake 'em. I got to see them right after Road to Jew came out, they opened for Russian Circles. I
Okay.
remember seeing the lead singer, he was not on stage, he was just pacing the floor, and I had no
Yeah.
clue who he was until he got up on stage and the voice came out of him, and And I was like, God damn, that's amazing.
Yeah, he's so
and-
cringe, but I
and-
think it's cool.
And then like 3 years later, somebody that comes out and everyone's all over somebody, like all over him. And yeah, I've seen that every time Devin comes through Casey, I definitely see him. So
Yeah.
Well, Bryn, I really want to thank you for being on the podcast. It's been great talking to you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, that was my conversation with Bryn from Stay Inside. Big thanks to him for taking the time. Thoughtful, open, the kind of conversation reminds you why you care about music in the first place. If you haven't checked out Longer yet, go spend some time with it. It's one of those records that reveals itself slowly, which feels like a small act of defiance in these days. Now, I want to know, what are you jamming? To do contact one of our socials, you go fan a log and send an email to whatadeyoujammingpodcast@gmail.com. Like it's 2006 and you just found your new favorite band on the message board. Behind you right now is Ain't That a Daisy playing us out. Alright, this has been What Are You Jamming? Thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys next time.
I'll move out west for